Hi there, YouTubers. You are here with Lucinda in my kitchen at Homestead with Blue Sky Ranch. Today, we are going to make Osso Buco. Today, I wanted to show you this beautiful cut of meat that we got when we harvested 2 of our steers. Today, we're going to make Osso Buco. And this is a special treat, and it came from our butchering of 2 steer. These are considered prime cuts of beef. They are usually harvested only when your steers are fairly young, and that's what we had. Ours were under 18 months of age, and so we ended up getting a bunch of these cuts. So as you can see, these are packaged in vacuum sealed packaging that we got when we had our steer harvest, and it's beef Osso Buco. We have almost 2 pounds here. They're the beef shank. So there's a couple things you're going to need to get started with, and you can tie these up with butcher string if you want to keep them all nicely perfectly round. I'm not going to bother with that today because it's just me and my husband. It's all about the flavor, right? You're going to need a pan of flour because we're going to dip them in this flour before we brown them. I use Redmond's real salt. You want the best salt for the best flavor when it comes to beef. And some pepper. Pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to take this out of the package now. Osso Buco, it's known as God's butter. And if you see here, there's a beautiful bone and it's full of bone marrow. That's the best part there. So we've got them on our cutting board. So I've got them here on my cutting board and I'm going to pat them dry before I add salt and pepper. Just like that. After that, we're going to give them a generous amount of salt and pepper. We're going to do both sides. So I'm going to get my pepper out. And check out this cute little spoon. I've had this since I was a kid. It's a SpaghettiOs spoon. I think they came in a box or something when you were little. I'm going to pat those in. Pat the salt and pepper in really good. And then we're going to flip it over. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. There's no measuring here. We just want to give it a generous amount of salt. Whoops. Oh, it's too much salt. But you know, it might not be. Let's get the edges a little bit. We can put that even on our cutting board and roll it around in it. All right. Okay, we've got the salt. And again, the pepper. And I'm going to go ahead and roll the edges on what I have left in my cutting board. Looks like that. Are those not beautiful? All right, next what we want to do is thoroughly coat them in flour. So I've went ahead, put some flour in a pan. We're just going to pat them in the flour before we braise them. You're going to get that on all the sides. See? Thoroughly coated both sides. Like that. Let's do the other one. We're going to put them back in the pan and we're going to go right over to the frying pan. So I'm back over here at my cast iron skillet. I've turned it on high. And you want to use a high quality, high heat oil. Most of you will only have olive oil to use, and that's perfectly fine. But me, I have my homemade tallow, so I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in the pan. It's got a super high heat point without smoking, and we're going to wait for that to melt. All right, so my cast iron pan's getting hot. As you can see, I'm going to evenly coat with that tallow. It is getting pretty hot here, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the Osso Buco into the pan. It's all nicely floured. There you go. And you don't want to crowd these. You don't want them to touch. So if you were doing more than two, you either have to have a bigger pan or do two at a time for the braising. Okay, we're going to brown both sides, probably about 3 minutes per side. Okay, I have my oven set at 350 degrees. We want that to preheat before we put our cast iron into the oven. All right, I've already flipped these. This side was getting a little hot on where you see the bone was, but it started to smoke a little bit. But that's all that bone marrow inside of there, that God's gold. So it was probably pretty full of some good bone marrow. So I turned my pan down a little bit. Cast iron gets so hot. We're at number 6 right now. Browning the other side, and then we're going to add it onto a plate, and then we'll be doing our vegetables. All right, these look perfect, so we're going to go ahead and take those out with that and put them on a plate. Beautiful. I'm going to turn this on low, and what we're going to do here is we're going to be adding a half a cup of vermouth. Now, if you don't have vermouth in your cupboard, you can also use a cooking wine, or a white wine. So what we're doing here is deglazing our pan. I am going to go ahead and turn this on low and let this simmer for just a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and add our vegetables. All right, next you're going to want to go ahead and get your vegetables ready. You either need 1 large onion or a couple medium. These are about the size that came out of my garden, so that's what I'm using. 4 cloves of garlic and 3 to 4 carrots, depending on how big yours are. We're going to go ahead and chop everything up and get it ready for the pan. All right, and you know me, I'm saving the peelings for the chickens from the carrots. You want to make this fairly small because we're going to want it to cook down in the oven. Once you get this all chopped up, we're going to go ahead and add it back to the frying pan. So continue to do this at home, and I'll be right back with you. So back over at the frying pan, it's been on low, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it back up to 6. We're going to wait for that to warm up a little bit, and then we're going to add in our onion. All right, we're going to add the onion and the garlic. Remember, that's a half a cup of vermouth in there. And we've left all the drippings from the Osso Buco in the pan. So we're going to wait till that caramelizes a little bit. All right, so back over here, we're back to cutting the vegetables. Going to cut up the carrot. Keep going, and then we'll get all this carrot cut up and we'll be adding it to the onion. All right, there's the carrot all chopped up. All right, this is sizzling along nicely, so we're going to go ahead and add the carrot. Okay, while that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and get the tomatoes ready. So if you're like me, it's at the end of season. I still have quite a few tomatoes left. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chop these up real small in my Cuisinart, and I'm going to add them to the mixture. If you don't have fresh tomatoes, you can use a can of stewed tomatoes. That would be just as fine. I'm going to cut up about half of these in my Cuisinart. So this is what I have after I went ahead and used these in my Cuisinart. I pulsed them. They are ready to go in the cast iron too. All right, this is coming along beautifully. You can see the onions are starting to caramelize. Turning a nice shade there. All right, now we're going to go ahead, add the tomato. And again, if you didn't have fresh tomatoes, just go ahead and use a can of stewed tomatoes. But if you're like me, it's the end of the season and I've been ripening a lot of green tomatoes, so we got to use them up. All right, we're going to turn this up a little bit and we're going to let it start to cook down. All right, next you're going to want to prepare 2 cups of beef bouillon. This is what I use. You might have beef stock that you could use. You could use that in your home, but this is what I keep on hand. It doesn't take up much room in the fridge, and you can buy this at Costco. It's a great deal. So I've got 2 cups of water, and we're going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of bouillon. Let's get that stuff out of there. No exact science on that. So now we're just going to whisk it up into the water, get it stirred in. All right, these are simmering along nicely. Smells delicious. We're going to go ahead and add the bouillon water or beef stock, whatever you have. And continue to simmer to get some of the carrots a little softer. So if you have any fresh basil, you can add that. We want to add 1 teaspoon of basil. If you had a sprig of thyme, you could throw that in here too and pull it out later. Just a little extra seasoning. Okay, so you want to put in 2 tablespoons approximately of Worcestershire. All right. Smelling delicious, you guys. All right, let that cook down a little bit. All right, this is looking very beautiful. You can tell the colors change, it's deepened, it's cooked down quite a bit. So it's time to add your Osso Buco back in, make a little room into the pan. Move over, babies. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cover a little bit with some vegetables. Like that. We're gonna let it get back up into temperature now. We're gonna let that go for probably about 3 minutes and then we're gonna throw it in the oven. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven. All right, it's ready to be put in the oven. We've got an oven preheated at 350. All right, make sure you take that off your cast iron. All right, look at that, it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
I'm getting to eat it right now.
This is the type of dish you want to impress your friends with. Okay, we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to wait 2 hours. All right, look at this. This is magnificent. 2.5 hours have passed, and it looks perfect.
It smells wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and say it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to plate this and give it a try. Okay, I don't think it looks any more beautiful than this. This is gorgeous. Totally cooked down and tender. Let's go ahead and put this on a plate and give it a try. Okay, here we go. Try to get it so it doesn't fall apart. Look at that. We put these in the oven. These are the greatest invention, you guys. If you don't have these for your steak, for nice pieces of meat, get them. Alrighty. I like my steak hot. Look at that. The vegetables cooked down to perfection. All right, after this, we're going to take a bite. So, this is, again, something you want to serve to family, friends to really impress them because they've never heard of it, they've never seen it, and it wasn't that hard to make, you guys. Onions, garlic, carrots, and some tomatoes cooked down to perfection.
And this one's Lucinda's, and I've already tried a bite of it, so she can have this one.
Oh, yeah, because
the larger one.
This one's a little larger, so Tom's going to go after that one. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks for joining us here at Homesteading with Blue Sky Ranch. And I hope you liked my video on how to make Osso Buco.
Like, share, and subscribe.
There you go. Come back for our next Cooking in the Kitchen with me, Lucinda. Thanks. Bye-bye.